Thank you, Barb, for the opening prayer, and thank you all for being here today. When thinking about global food system, local food system, I could probably have a day-long workshop on that. So I thought the best way to perhaps do this would be to give you a couple of experiences I've had with the global food system and its effect on local communities. In 1995, I moved from Vancouver back to Smithers. And Smithers is situated in between Prince George and Prince Rupert on Yellowhead Highway 16. And just to give you some context about that is I took a position as a community economic development officer. Smithers is a town of 5,200 people. Its economic sectors are forestry, mining, mineral extraction, tourism, has a great ski hill, and agriculture at the time was limited to dairy, some beef, and some hay production. Although historically the Bulkley Valley, where Smithers is located, historically was a very vibrant agricultural community. It had a federal agricultural research station. Up to the late 50s, it would ship carloads of vegetables to Prince Rupert and to the Lower Mainland. In 1997, there was a Teamsters strike. Teamsters drive trucks, and they drive usually big trucks. And those trucks usually carry food and stuff. Day 3 of the strike, I walked into the Safeway store, and when you walk into stores, you know that everything fresh is on the outside walls, so you go fruits and veggies, and then dairy, and then you get to the meats. And on day 3, there was no fruits and vegetables. There was a bit of dairy and there was a bit of meat. On day 4, I walked into the same store, and on the right-hand side where the vegetables and fruit section, there was this mound of potatoes. And stuck in the middle of the mound of potatoes was a sign, local potatoes, $1.29 a pound. Day 5, the strike was over, and by day 6, the food was starting to flow in those trucks again. It kind of struck me in terms of economics and job creation and those things that, wow, we were in trouble. I mean, 99% of the food that was flowing into Smithers has come by trucks. So that kind of woke me up a bit and gave me a different perspective on communities and our dependencies on the outside world. And to the left of Smithers, going east, is a small community called Telkwa. And there was a young couple that moved from Switzerland. There's a lot of Swiss people live in the Bulkley Valley, and they decided to start a dairy production farm so that they had experience from their grandfathers and grandmothers on how to take milk from cows and produce milk, cheese, yogurt, and they had a very tasty ice cream. And people would, when they were up and running, we would drive, their distribution was basically that people would drive to Telkwa to this small little dairy operation and pick up the milk and the dairy products. And initially they started putting their products in convenience stores. Finally they were able to get into Safeway and Super Value and get some shelf space. And as soon as they did, Dairyland dropped their 4-liter price by $1. So, they just couldn't compete. Here's, local operation, and Dairyland's a big boy. And it wasn't long after that Saputo, pardon me for some water. Saputo is the largest dairy producer in the country, bought out Dairyland. They established contracts with Super Value and Safeway that eliminated the possibility of this local dairy to put their product on the shelves. So I get on the phone and I phone my local MLA at the time, and I'm saying, how can we let this happen? How can we let this local dairy go down? His response to me was, well, we're a free enterprise government. And I said, well, you know what? Your free enterprise government is basically contradictory. You're really creating monopolies. That was it, and they closed. They were done. So those are my two real-life experiences. And the global food system is centralized, industrialized, homogenized, pasteurized, and monopolized. Avian flu, mad cow, the swine flu, larger and more frequent food recalls, genetically engineered food, cloned meats, soil degradation, global warming, and trade disputes all have their roots in the global food system. The only way for us to make any significant change in that system is going to have to be at the local level. So mayors and elected officials, you are probably the closest we citizens can get to democracy. And you're at the front line of our communities and have the ability to make change. And I think you have more power than some of the most powerful people on the planet. So for us to move forward, I think it's going to take some collaboration and some cooperation of all of us citizens to make some changes in the food and agricultural system. The global food system isn't going to go away anytime soon, but we can certainly do it at the local level. And perhaps I think we need maybe some less think tanks and some more do tanks. Tanks.